Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to talk about C part of question number 1. So in that case, I'm telling you, because this is a two-tailed test, you divide your given alpha by 2. So alpha by 2, you'll be having, you divide 0.05 by 2. The answer is coming to be 0.025. Okay. This is simply alpha by 2. And for the left tail, you are to subtract this value. So 1 minus alpha by 2, in that case, you subtract this value which you have got from 1. And that will be 0.975. Okay, 0.9. Now you are getting two values. For the right tail, this is simply chi-square or bottom पे लिखेंगे आप alpha by 2. This is chi-square, bottom पे लिखेंगे 0.025. And for the left tail, chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2. This will be chi-square 0.975. Okay. Now you are going to have two values. Because you know there is no negative value in this case. Because it is square distribution, chi-square. So even if it is a left tail test, the value will never be negative. You know, graph is starting from 0 and it's moving to the right. So 0 and all the bigger values which you are catering on the right side. So for chi-square left, you have to subtract 1 minus alpha by 2 करेंगे आप. For chi-square right, simply chi-square alpha by 2. So chi-square alpha by 2 is now chi-square 0.025, and for left tail, chi-square 0.975. These two values of alpha, and the degree of freedom in this case is what the author has given you in the C part, 15. N is 15. So what will be degree of freedom? DF is 14. So just subtract 1 from that. Now against, we first locate the value for the chi-square right. Chi-square right is chi-square alpha by 2, chi-square 0.025. We see its value from the table. Chi-square 0.025. 0.025. This is the last but the third column, 0.025. Against the degree of freedom 14, come down, and this is the value against 14. You see, this is the degree of freedom 14 against it, and chi-square 0.025. Its value is coming to be 26.119. Fine. This is chi-square right. Chi-square right, which is chi-square 0.025, and the answer is coming to be, this is 26.119. 26.1. In this style you must write, and then you write down chi-square left. For chi-square left, the value is 1 minus alpha by 2. You have calculated. This is 0.975. At the bottom, you write down 0.975. And then you look at where is 0.975. This is third column from the this left side, 0.975, where my cursor is revolving, and come down again for the same degree of freedom, 14. The value is 5.629. Okay. So chi-square left, this is the left tail, 5.629. Clear to everybody? I hope you have got this concept to consider the table. Now I switch over to an question from the exercise, the same exercise 8.5, and attempting question number 5. This is on page 454. Question number 5 is in front of you on the screens. Please note down, and I'm reading it. Test the claim that the standard deviation of the number of aircraft stolen each year in the United States is less than 15. If a sample of 12 years had standard deviation. If a sample of 12 years had a standard deviation of 13.6, use alpha equal to 0.0. Now, see how do we attempt this question and what are the informations given to us. Test the claim that the standard deviation. अब किसकी बात हो रही है? माजी में जितने भी आपने क्वेश्चंस किए in exercise 8.2, 8.3, there the author had been telling you the average of the population in the first sentence. Okay, that was the mean. And in the next exercise, he was talking about the population proportion. But now he's talking about the standard deviation. So keep in mind the change in the language of the problem. क्योंकि ये चीजें फिर आपको मैटर करेंगी. यहाँ से आपने खुद डिसाइड करना है which distribution we are to use. The question will not tell. So the standard deviation, now we are talking about the standard deviation of the number of the aircraft stolen in each year in the United States is less than. Less than symbol always comes where? In the H1. Okay? Less than 15. This is the value of standard deviation he talked about. The standard deviation sigma, the population का standard deviation है, less than 15. Now he'll talk about the sample. What is the sample size? 12 years. N is 12. Had an standard deviation. अब ये standard deviation किस चीज का हुआ? ये sample का हुआ. And with which letter you use to denote the standard deviation of the sample? That is S. So this is the value of S. This is the value of sigma. And this is the value of N, sample size, and this is alpha. Only these four values are sufficient for such problems. तो आपको दो standard deviation होंगे, one for the sample and another for the population. Now see which formula we are going to apply. Seed solution. The title of the question is stolen aircraft. The data I have already discussed. Standard deviation of population denoted by sigma is 15. Sample size is N, 12 years. Standard deviation of the sample. This is the sample standard deviation. So we denote it with S, 13.6. Alpha is 0.5. Now switch over to step number 1, hypothesis and the claim. As usual, we had been writing. Same 5 steps you will do. But is less than, and as I discussed in the language of the problem, the less than symbol always comes in the H1. H1 may less than, and this is the same as the claim. And if you are finding less than in H1, what symbols we will be writing in H0? इसके counter symbols क्या हैं? Greater or equal. Okay. Then in the next step, critical value कैसे निकालना है? So this is one tail. When it is less than or greater than, it is one tail test. So alpha equal to 0.05, it is one tail test. और bracket में लिख ले कौन सी tail है? Less होगा तो left tail, greater होगा तो right tail, not equal to होगा तो two tail. That I had been telling you in every problem almost. तो याद रखिए. Left tail के लिए हमें क्या करना होता है? That we have to subtract alpha from 1. So 1 minus alpha is 1.1 minus 0.05 comes to be 0.95. And degree of freedom, N is 12, so degree of freedom is 11. For the CV, the CV from the chi-square distribution table is CV. यहाँ पे लिखा करें chi-square, पता चले you are considering this table. अब देखिए, I will show जी क्या है degree of freedom क्या था? The degree of freedom is 11 on 0. This is the degree of freedom, and 0.95. This is 0.95. तो नीचे आप आ जाएगा. This is against degree of freedom is 4.57. This is written 4.57. And you will not be attaching plus sign or minus sign in this case because every value is a positive value, it's a squared value. Now for the test value, the formula is little different. देखिए, the test value is chi square equals n minus 1 s square over sigma. This is the formula, you must remember it. N is 12, 12 minus 1, s square samples standard deviation square ले लिया इसका, और ये population का standard deviation 15 इसका square ले लिया. After putting all these values, squaring the values and multiplying and then dividing, you got chi square 9.025. ये तो आसान है. You should know how to go for the calculations. डिसीजन करते वक्त यू ऑलवेज ड्रॉ पॉजिटिवली स्क्यूड राइट टेल लंबी होगी इसकी लेफ्ट टेल से, याद रखिएगा. बिकॉज इससे लेफ्ट टेल टेस्ट ड्रॉ वर्टिकल लाइन एट द लेफ्ट, और इसकी लिखिएगा chi स्क्वायर लेफ्ट, ये बॉटम पे लिखते हैं chi स्क्वायर लेफ्ट, एंड इट्स वैल्यू यू फाउंड, ये सीवी की वैल्यू है 4.575. आफ्टर लोकेटिंग एंड शेडिंग दिस लेफ्ट टेल, you locate for the right tail, for the test value. Test value is what? 9.024. The moment you move right side, the values become larger and bigger. So 4 से 9 large है, बड़ा है, so 9 will come on the right side. The test value is not falling in the critical region. You see, test value is not falling in the critical region, so do not reject H0. The decision will be do not reject H0 since the test value does not fall in the critical region. Step number 5, last step, summarize the result. I told you, you see step number 4 and step number 1. Here you are not rejecting H0. And look, this is your H0. You are not rejecting it. If H0 is not rejected, then H1 is rejected. Once H1 is rejected, so claim is rejected. Okay? बस यहाँ से इन दोनों से ये फायदा होगा. तो आधा जुमला क्या बनेगा आपका? There is sufficient evidence to reject the claim, and then you write the language from the book. There is enough evidence to reject the claim that the standard deviation of the number of aircraft stolen each year in the United States is less than 15. इसको हमने reject कर दिया. ये पूरी statement, that के बाद जो statement है that we have rejected. जी हाँ, मुझे पता है आसान हो रही है. अब आपको इस क्वेश्चन के बाद I'll give you the break. Go for 10 minutes break to offer your prayers.